Hello everyone and welcome to the Edmonds Racing Preview Show. Well, we're one sleep out from the big one, the $11.75 million Magic Millions race day. Course is looking great in the background, fellas. Toby, Trent have got a big team, or a quality team, probably more importantly, headed towards the big day.
Three of them.
Yeah, but a quality team, that's more important.
Yep.
How are we feeling? A bit excited?
Yeah, we are actually. I think we're both stepping about a bit this morning. We'll go into quiet mode tomorrow morning. I think we'll all be on edge a bit. So
A few pre-race nerves.
we're not in any of the big races really. They're the support races, but they're big enough.
They're all big races.
They're big. Well, they're not the 2 and 3 year old $2 million races like we've had runners in those in most of the last 3, 4, 5 years really. So we're not represented there this year. So we're happy to be in the support ones.
Yeah, well, $1 million races, all of them, aren't they? So
Yep.
3 runners vying for collectively $3 million. So without further ado, let's get straight into the preview. Mamie Legard gets things underway. The $1 million tab, fillies and mares, 1,300. Jason Collett to ride, and we know she finished second on this day last year in the 3-year-old Guineas. And how's she coming along since the Gateway?
Yeah, she's come along really, really well. I think I think we mentioned on the show before, but we targeted the Gateway to get us a free kick into the Stradbroke. We thought that was the right thing to do, but realistically, she's a filly that you can set for a race, but she's better off with a month between runs, 5 or 6 weeks between runs, because she's just that type of filly. She puts everything into a run. The track was very, very firm the day she won here, and the recovery's just not enough. The 2-week gap's just not enough for her to recover, I think. And she raced, although she had a wide run, she raced a little flat. I thought. She didn't get the best steer, but she's certainly a Class 3 horse beater. So, and that's not taking anything away from the winner either. So I'm just saying that's fact. Back to home track, she races super here, as she has done previously, running second, as you mentioned, in the Magic Million 3-year-old. She won the stakes race here 2 starts ago, and we're freshening her right up for this. She's in good order.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Soft barrier.
Happy with Mamie?
Yeah, soft barrier's good. Just got to exit the gates clean. If she could be
In the first half of the field,
midfield or first half of the field, sort of one off the fence without doing any work. Beautiful, spot on, striking distance. Hopefully, the favourite's down inside her, and then we're off and gone.
Yeah, well, look, you got the track last week was on speed. It was terribly biased. I don't know what was going on there, but hopefully it turns around this week where everything gets its chance.
Yep.
Because if it doesn't, we're in a bit of trouble, because she's not she doesn't get up on speed at all. She's sort of midfield at best, and she finishes hard. So as long as the pattern turns around this week, we're a real good chance, I think.
I think it will. Historically, the week before Magic Millions, after not having use of the track for sort of 3 or 4 weeks and hiding the inside,
It's had a rest, yeah.
The week before, for nearly the 10 years that I've been here, it's nearly always biased to that sort of fence and on speed and run, and then the next week it fares up a bit. But last week was hectic. But if she can be within striking distance, top of the straight, trademark booming finish, and home she goes.
Coming home hard at the finish, and no doubt our man Navesh Ramdani, he'll have the track in good order ahead of the big day.
Well, the track's in good order. It was just it was difficult to fathom the pattern. That's all.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm not whinging about the track. The track's
sensational.
It's got a great grass cover. It is. It was just odd that it was so leaderish.
Yep. All right, that's the first runner vying for $1 million. The next one, Hard Empire. He lines up in the $1 million Magic Million Snippets. He's first up here. He's won both of his trials, so tick, and reunites with Rachel King after their heroics at 100 to 1 in the Missile.
And he's been
60 to 1.
But who's counting?
Yeah, I didn't get that price.
That should give me a free kick for a whole year. I should get points every week.
He's been set for this since his last run in Melbourne. Everything's gone to plan. And yeah, soft barrier's good. One difference this year compared to years gone by, with all these new races, everyone's spoilt for choice, so this field's copped an absolute shellacking with scratchings. I think there's 5 or 6 scratchings, only 10 runners, so that's going to allow him to be a fair bit closer in the run without doing anything, just have him wear comfortable, build to his top, get down the middle of the track, very similar to Missile Stakes Day. It's good speed drawn out wide, so that's good. Horses like Axe and that should come across and put some tempo into the race, so he thrives on that. Middle of the track, probably make his run with the favourite, and hopefully there's life in the old boy's legs yet. What we've seen at home has been good, so he's ready to
I
go.
think there's breakneck speed in this. Like there's not a real Hootson type fast running horse, is there?
No, but there's a couple.
They do roll along, but they're not fast horses. Like Axe give up the lead in the race that ran in at Doomben the other day. The
race that King of Sparta won, I think it was.
Look, I'm not sure whether there is that bigger tempo in the race.
I think there's enough from out wide.
Yep.
That's going to put a tiny bit in. It's
worry.
Magic Millions Day. It's $1 million race.
Well,
There's
that's
pressure. They're not going to get to the front and run 37 the first 600.
No.
No.
He won't be far away by the way anyway. Like he'll be fresh up. He'll be. You know, both of his trials have been really competitive, and he can get on the speed if you want him to. I know Jimmy Burns trialled him a couple of times, and he bangs him straight to the front. And Martin couldn't nearly hold him the other day. The couple of times he's trialled. So
a couple of years ago when Brad won the George Moore on him, he wasn't far off either, was he? He sort of was better than midfield and was within striking distance.
Closer if it pans out.
Yeah,
that
for
way.
sure, for sure, especially from soft gate.
Yeah, we're not going to be. I mean, we could even box seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it to Rachel how he begins.
Knows him well and good memories for her.
I don't know whether she knows him that well. She did win on 7
knew him well for 5 minutes.
For about 3 minutes.
Well, she did win a Group 2 race on him, so that's pretty good form.
Anyhow, I think Trent's right. He's in good order, ready to go.
Super.
Okay, you're right, Trent.
Super shape.
All right, well, we've got a special guest now because we're going to be talking about Alpine Edge and the Lucky Clover Syndicate. There's lots of excited owners this week, so we'll bring in Steve Hargraves from the Lucky Clover team.
Okay, we've got a special guest in today. What would you say? A real great stable supporter, Steve Hargraves from the Lucky Clover Syndicate. We've all got we've all got the gear on today, so we're decked out in the colours. Lucky Clover own a share in, or majority share basically in Alpine Edge. So, how do you see the race?
How do I see it, mate? Well, we're super excited.
Yeah.
Magic Millions has been good to us. It's been good to Lucky Clover. It's hard to keep a lid on it because the horses, you guys have done a tremendous job. Crikey's that run at Toowoomba was as good as.
Yep.
The winner was too good for us, but I think the winner's a pretty good horse.
Yep. He'd be one of the chances in the 3-year-old race. You'd think.
100%. Yeah. But Alpine Edge has been tremendous for Lucky Clover. He's our star
Flag bearer,
horse,
hasn't he?
Yeah.
So let's walk it back a bit. We'll talk. We'll go in depth into the race in a minute, but let's walk it back a bit to the start of Lucky Clover and fire away. Obviously, there's 4 of you. There's you, Chris Casey,
Steve Shirley, and
Paul Letterhose, who's kicked it all off. And you've grown from so many clients to how many now?
Oh, we're at about 150, 160, I think.
Oh wow, that's a big team.
Not all of them are involved in horses, but they've sort of grabbed what we're about, and so they want to be attached to our information, our emails that are sent out. So, do you want a bit of history about Lucky Clover?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Righto. How long you got?
Not as long as you
short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
So if my wife was here, she'd be cutting me off already. But anyway, look, the guys that got involved with Lucky Clover, we started off with you Edmonds boys with a couple of horses, Last Viaja and Miracist, Quick-Witted.
Okay, yeah.
Mama Corfcastle. And then I remember we went, those 4 guys were associated. Chris Casey sort of introduced me into horse racing in early 2000.
And you blame him for it, yeah?
Blame him, yeah. But I've loved it.
Yeah.
We've all loved it.
Very passionate.
Very passionate. And
as per the text he sends out. That long.
Occasionally I try not to say too much to you blokes because you're all over it. But anyway, getting back to I guess the crux of it was we went to the sales one day, Fatty Borton, and you guys were doing an open day over the bank.
No, that was when we paraded
2016.
Yeah.
2016, and I promised my wife, I said, look, we're not going down to buy any horses. We're just, we've got a few and we'll go down there anyway.
We're hanging on for a free lunch.
Yeah, a bit like that. There was a beer and a bit of lunch, and we were hung over from Lyricist ran last in the Roses the day before.
Oh, okay.
So, promised the wife that we weren't buying any horses. Anyway, long story short, we ended up walking away with 2 and lucky enough to get involved with Hootson. And the story of Hootson's quite famous, really.
Yeah.
We all got on Hootson at big odds early because the inside word from you gents was that she was pretty good, and crikey, she was good, real good. And won the Magic Millions, and the day she won the Magic Millions was, a day we'll never forget. When you're involved in horses and you get to be part of a special day, and a big day like that was, wow. And we just wanted to bring that to other people. We sat down and had a bit of a meeting just before she actually won and said, maybe we should create something. Let's get people involved. And that's how Lucky Clover was sort of born.
Well, that's interesting. And you got a broad range of clients, or any big hitters? And they're all any big hitters, or they're all just run of the mill working class guys like us?
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, we haven't got any big hitters. I think Casey probably thinks he's a big hitter, but he's that's about it.
Yeah, he does. He's got a bit of rugby tough about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, private schoolboy, mate.
That's it. Yeah, that's what we call him. Yeah. Anyhow, moving on from that. So then you're fortunate enough to come into Alpine Edge, running second in the Magic Million a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, well,
we've had a horse that won the Magic Millions, but in fairness, Lucky Clover had only just been born, really, of that. And then all of a sudden we've got a horse in the 2-year-old race, and it won the Phil and Reddy, which he blokes always do pretty well in, and the Bruce McLaughlin, and it was about $8 in the Magic Millions. And got away a little bit slow, but ran a tremendous race and ran second. So our people were like, they were euphoric.
To run second, I know. It was a big day.
It was a big day, yeah, massive.
A bit sad, actually. Probably nearly should have won.
No, I heard that from you guys. I
think if he began and he puts himself a length closer, he's right.
You watch the overhead view of that race, and he's last. He's never missed. He hadn't missed the kick,
because in his previous couple of runs, I remember his first start was in the field already, wasn't it? And he led, and he bounced and led, and then Anyway, well that's interesting going forward. What's the plan for Lucky Clover, and
where do you see yourselves in 5 years and expansion and
well,
how do you want to go
20,
about
30
it?
horses be good?
That's a good question, Trent, and we have talked about that. We don't want to be big.
Okay.
I'm not going to use the word boutique, but because we're a little bit of a family. Anybody that's a client of Lucky Clover, they get together, and you see us when we get to the races. There's always 20 or 30 there. We like to try and keep it pretty simple. We love our association with you fellas and your team, the staff, and the access that you provided.
Yep.
So we'll look to buy a couple at the sales this year and sort of turn it over like that. I think we've got 8 horses, and I don't know. If you win a couple of big races, things can get big, and it's hard to keep
snowball a bit.
It's hard to keep a lid on it. So we're going to try and just keep it real, because that's what we're about. And
I think you can see like some guys they'll win a big race, all of a sudden they've got 20, 30 horses around them, and they get a lot of slow ones, and then it turns the other way. I reckon you're right. If you can keep it somewhat boutique, you'll do well.
Yeah, and we've got a not a bad system in place. Probably won't go into that now, but it's sort of working for us, and some of the horses we've got are really starting to, obviously Alpine Edge, but Corf Castle, Indian Dreamer. Geez, we love Indian Dreamer. Some of us do.
You do.
He's been fantastic, hasn't he? Really.
He's been good this
five seasons.
I'm his worst critic, but he has been good this year.
He wins a Saturday race he has for the last couple of years.
Perhaps, I think he's at his best, Trent.
But he's 7-year-old and he's taken to win 5 races, so that's my issue with him.
He's only 6, isn't he?
6. Nearly 7.
Come on, you're being harsh on the old fellow, mate.
Anyway, let's get into Alpine Edge, right? So we've kicked Adam out for this preview of this one. So how do you see it, Trent?
Barrier 1. Look, unfortunately, Martin, who was prepped this horse pretty much exclusively for the whole prep.
Bloody shame he fell off on Wednesday and he broke his neck, or C1 or something, so he's out for roughly 6 months.
Ribs, collarbone, shoulder, and he's C1.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a decent fall. Well, we were fortunate enough to get James McDonald, who's a pretty good replacement, by the way. So shout out to Martin. Hope you get well soon, mate. We'll have to put you on ice for a couple of months and hopefully come back bigger and stronger. So that's a quick shout out to him. Keep going, Trent.
Yeah. Well, barrier 1.
Pretty
simple.
Yep.
World's best jockey.
Ooh,
Third the fence.
big statement.
It's not a big statement. It's fact.
I agree.
What's wrong with Ryan Moore? You no good?
This guy. Wow. Yeah, just third the fence, make the outside horses work, and clear running, right time, boom.
What do you think, Hugs?
Pretty simple.
Oh, just quickly on Martin Harley, he's been tremendous for Lucky Clover, and on behalf of Lucky Clover, we are thinking of him, and it's unfortunate just before a couple of big races that's happened, but I'm with Trent. I think James McDonald is the best jockey in the world. I think that we've finally drawn a barrier, which is really good.
Yeah.
And I think the horse, just looking at that track gallop the other day and the information we're getting, he's obviously in good nick, so I think he's primed.
Yeah.
Bad luck will beat him, I think. That's it.
Yeah, probably. But race 10 things can turn around a little bit, so we need to look at the pattern and how the track's trending for the day. How I look at we can't have him any better. He's worked Tuesday morning. He galloped. We didn't want to do a great deal with him. We galloped him. He was supposed to work on his own. He struck off and trailed a couple that were galloping in front of him. Brad Widdup's horse and one of ours, the Vowels, I think it was. And Martin, the horse towed him up behind him and actually joined in 3 wide in the gallop. So to my eye, he chased those horses down in that gallop, and I got to be honest, I haven't seen him work like that, and he's had a pretty good week in recovery. Even we've had him out walking and swimming most afternoons, and he's up in the air and carrying on. So we can't have him any better. And you're right, barrier 1 suits. Great rider, and only, what would you say, bad luck would beat him, but you never know. Racing's a funny thing.
Racing's a funny thing, yeah. 100%.
So he's my best bet if we're doing best bets.
Have I got a best bet?
I think we're pretty unanimous. I think it's a unanimous decision, isn't it? Go to the judge's scorecard.
Well, I thought I'd get him first
he'll be the best of all of ours. So
yeah, I thought I'd get him first because you hog it a bit.
Yeah, well, he's my best bet.
Is he?
Okay. For what it's worth. Can I just say something else?
Yeah.
I've ticked off a bucket list thing.
What? Get on the show?
Been on the show.
How good.
Thanks, Adam.
We'll get 800 viewers this week.
Oh, it could be big.
It'll be big, don't worry.
Anyway, thanks for coming in, Hugs, and we're going over the road to have a look at a couple of horses this morning.
Yep.
And hopefully we can find another Magic Million run. It'd be good.
Thanks. That'll be nice.
Well done, Hugs.
Thanks, gents.
Good luck today.
Workers.
Good luck this weekend, guys. Well, let's get on to the Ipswich runners now.
Tell me to pop out?
No, you can stay there. Mate. Do the Ipswich runners. We'll keep Hugs in for this bit of the preview. 2 runners there. We've got the Vowels in the 3-year-old Cutis 1350. Drawn softly and
drawn pretty well with barrier 3.
Not many runners either.
Only 6 runners in it, but it looks to be a competitive enough race.
Yeah.
Horse of Tony Sears won maiden the other night at Toowoomba. Golan's horse with the Queensland Rogues, Greylander, was dominant in a maiden prior to running in the
He's pretty quick.
Rogue.
Pretty quick, that thing.
It'll probably lead.
Yeah.
Our horse, we bang him out and put him just behind it. Hopefully runs him down. He's in good form. He won an ordinary race, but won with good authority the other day. So heads there in super shape, and it just looks like a good option for nice Cutis money.
I agree. I think he's going to be finishing pretty hard. If Greylander gets us off, he's going to be hard to run down, but our guy will be finishing pretty quick, I think. You like him, the Vowels?
I liked his run the other day. Trent referred to over Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, he did.
Actually ran well behind Corfe Castle.
Actually, I thought he needed the run, and he probably did. You see, I think he'd be better third up.
Yeah. Next one, Dark Horse, drawn ordinary in the 1170. So we just need to have a look as to whether we go around. There is options for him for the next week or so. He's been in work a long time. Can't add anything to his fitness. He's rock solid. Other day he got run down late, probably rode him like a good thing. I think he was a very short price favourite.
Yeah.
And maybe just should have come back half a length to a length and then let the horse that led up go. It was a roughie, 100 to 1. It dropped out, left him in front a long way out, and he got run down in the shadows. So we just need to wait and see and do the map today before we commit to a run, because there's events for him in the next week or so.
There's plenty of option for him going forward.
Other than that, I think that's about us.
We're done?
I scored in the tally last week for the
Trent's
Kryptonite.
Trent's one up.
Run a good third on a very hard track, leader bias track, and I'm one up. So tally on the screen. Beautiful. I think we're done.
Good luck, everyone.